Hello and greetings, everyone. As I said, excuse me, I had one more model that I got for Christmas, a Heinkel 111 Cobi. And excuse me while I open it up. So you got the instruction booklet out. The instruction booklet out, and there it is. Voila. 675 pieces. Not bad. You just got to go slow with it. Once again, this one, similar parts that I put in the wrong place, and I had to do some disassembly. And one other thing that I'd like to show. The actual fuselage, where it connects with the main body part, is kind of funky and very frail when you initially put it together. But once all the pieces get in and everything kind of connects where it's supposed to be, it's a very solid plane. And bear with me 1 second. And here is a completed plane. Very beautiful plane with very sturdy retractable landing gear, a working bomb bay. Oh, can't get it open. This always happens with these because these bricks get so tight. Almost. Yes. Most exciting part of the day, and there's the open bomb bay. You open them up, the bombs will drop out. And that's where the bombs are situated in this plane. They drop like this, and then they just kind of tumble down. Not the way they were dropped out of a B-17 or B-24 or a Lancaster or a Halifax bomber. And this was essentially a medium bomber. On the actual model itself, it said that it only has a 3,306 pound bomb load. I know these planes are capable of carrying up to 5,000 pounds of bombs. They had 5 crewmen. They had 5 lightweight 7.9 millimeter, basically 30 caliber machine guns. One there, one there, one there, and 2 that could go on either belt side. All aluminum. It was basically created off of airliner, an all-metal, low-wing monoplane airliner from 1935-34. And what they did was it served as a bomber in Spain, in the Spanish Civil War in 1936. And then they modified it. It gave it this glazed, sleek, aerodynamic nose. They cleaned up the plane a bit. It has a gull wing to it. It's unique how the gull wings are on here. You have little lock things, once you put them in, ding, they lock. They're very secure. But this was a very neat plane, kind of an advanced plane in 1935. Step up a couple years to September of 1939, beginning of World War II, and this was their Germans' primary bomber. So all the cities of Europe, Warsaw, Rotterdam, cities in France, the Netherlands, Holland, this was a very nasty kind of a plane. It kind of ran roughshod. There wasn't good fighter opposition in Poland. When it went west, you had the British Hawker Hurricane fighter, and probably the French D-Between 520 was the only ones that would be able to go and cause a problem with this. And those planes were scattered and few and far between. So after the fall of France, they moved massive squadrons of these planes into France to go and fight in the Battle of Britain. They knew they needed an escort fighter for it, so they teamed it up with the ME-109, the ME-110 twin engine, and they basically thought they were going to face scores of Hawker Hurricane fighter planes, which are very maneuverable, very neat planes. But alas, they were going to face, as their opponent in Britain, the Supermarine Spitfire. They encountered it in France over Dunkirk, but they had mechanical issues with the ones that were there, and it was just coming into service. When they went into Britain, they got a mouthful of these planes. This plane, combined with the Hurricane, basically decimated this plane as a frontline bomber, basically making it kind of an obsolete plane as far as doing that kind of a task. So it reigned from basically the Spanish Civil War up through 1939 to the summer of 1940. They still used them when they invaded the Soviet Union and used them throughout the war, but their effectiveness as an offensive weapon kind of limited. When you have good, adequate fighters that can take care of them, they're nothing to reckon with. If you want to kind of see how that was, you could watch the movie Battle of Britain, and no CGI. The movie came out in 1969. You see actual plane versus plane. You see what happened with this plane. That being said, it was still a good plane. They used it in Russia. They built it after the war too. The Spanish built it in Spain, but not using the Daimler-Benz DB601 engines, which it had. What they were running were the Rolls-Royce carbureted Merlin engines that the British had. One this plane was produced in Spain through, I think, 1952. They eventually retired it. And some of those planes are used in the movie Battle of Britain. But getting back to the plane itself, it served a good purpose. It had the same engines as an ME-110, ME-109, Daimler-Benz DB601s, about 1,000 horsepower, a little bit over, and good, dependable engines. And this is when Germany kind of thought a little bit. They produced a lot of these engines to power multiple planes, not specialty things or specialty planes, and not being able to mass produce. And that was one of the issues. The problem with this plane, they never really upgraded it a lot. Like I said, I believe this thing could fly at a top speed of 252. This one here, it said it flew at 242 miles an hour. It's got about a 25,000 foot ceiling. And it can carry up to 5,000 pounds. I know that because I built other models of this before. This particular one says like 3,306 pounds of bombs. You can carry two underneath and the rest of them in the bomb bay, the internal bomb bay. And it was an all-metal plane. It was, as far as design and concept, it was an advanced plane when it came out. And it was actually not a bad plane if it had adequate fighter cover to protect it in 1940. Problem was the Germans didn't know how to do that because their blitzkrieg attacks was basically a quick offensive strike. And this type of aerial warfare was just being developed. And the British were quicker with the radar-assisted ground controlling assisted air kind of a thing, and they had some issues. There were times when they would send these up unescorted and they would get mauled. I mean, because you had Hawker Hurricanes coming at them with Spitfires covering the Hurricanes. We were intercepted by a bunch of Spitfires with no fighter coverage. You're gonna die in this plane. All of you are gonna be shot down. And they didn't know that prior to that. They discovered that during this battle. And that's when a lot of modern interception tactics that even used today were like redeveloped, utilizing technology, radar, and coordinated defense systems. And that's where this plane kind of like showed its weaknesses, and you had to delegate it to something else. Now, I believe they used it also for anti-shipping, transport. It was a good plane. But, I mean, from the ground up, it wasn't really designed as a bomber, compared to, like, say, the Havila Mosquito or the B-25 that I built in the back there. But for what it was supposed to do, it did it pretty well. And it's a neat historical plane. I mean, the regime that used them were vile and evil, but taking it out of context and then just forgetting that and just looking at it for what it was, a weapon of war and an airplane, it's a good plane. This model was a gift. I don't know how much it costs. I'm very pleased with it. It was easy to put together. The instructions are very, very good. I just messed up because, like I said, when they have similar parts and you have everything spread out in one big pile and you're trying to break it down, sometimes you do. But I didn't have to do a lot of back disassembly to establish it to be where it's supposed to be here, and here it is. It's a Heinkel 111. Let me go grab the box. HE11P2 Cobi. They're still available. I've seen some on Amazon, and give it a look. If you started to build these and you don't have a twin engine, it's actually a nice plane. All pad printed, and I'm pretty happy with it. That's about it. I will have another video coming up with some other stuff. And I apologize for not being quicker with this, but we've had some family issues, so I had to kind of slow down stuff that I was doing. So anyway, I'm back with the videos and hope to see everybody soon. Bye.